Hi, powerful positive manifestors. You're listening to Antara. In case you want to read the success story, then you will find it on the official website of The Secret, and then just type Rescued from Hell. So this story is submitted by Paul Bright. Firstly, he begins by thanking Rhonda Bryan and the entire team of The Secret for publishing the book, due to which his life completely turned around for the best. Paul is 44 years old and wanted to share his story in order to inspire people who are going through tough situations all around the world, and to show those people that they too can achieve the life of their dreams just like Paul did. That is literally such an extremely sweet thought, guys. Anyway, so let's just get back to his story. So Paul mentions that he was a great child who belonged from a very good family with an awesome childhood. He lived in a city where everyone were crazy about football, due to which he also was completely in love with football, and football was just his life. Best part for Paul was that he lived very close to the football stadium, and growing up all he wanted to do was play for LFC. Guys, I don't really watch football, so I googled what is LFC, and if you're watching and have no idea too, just like me, what LFC is, then let me tell you that LFC is the abbreviation for Liverpool Football Club. He then tells us that he had a great school life with his friends, but then he started taking drugs. He got addicted to heroin and crack addiction, due to which his life got worse, as expected. And for so many years, he literally felt like he was living in a hell. He was busy fighting with his addictions. He was constantly in and out of rehab centers, but he would always end up losing, and he had to start all over again. He says that he literally wasted 18 years of his life this way, and he couldn't see how he could get out of this mess. Paul then decided to go to his parents' vacation home in Spain. That way he could clear up his mind. So he went to a cafe. He was having coffee outside all by himself, and all of a sudden a stranger came up to Paul and asked if he could join him. The two of them began chatting, and the stranger was also an Englishman from London, so the great thing was that there were no language barriers. Guys, I literally couldn't imagine that this happened the next. I mean, it might seem like a small thing, but I mean, to me it was kind of strange. So the stranger told Paul that he could sense that Paul was going through a rough life. I mean, okay, probably Paul was like sad and upset, but anyways, so Paul agreed and began narrating his life story to that stranger, and the stranger was so very sweet to listen to it the entire time. So the stranger told Paul that he'll be right back in 5 minutes, and when the stranger came back, he came back with a book called The Secret, and told Paul to read this book before leaving for England, and also asked Paul to return this book to the owner of the cafe, so that the stranger could collect his book from the cafe owner. So when the stranger left, Paul was like, wow, what a lovely guy, because he listened and cared for Paul, but they never met again. Okay, but now we have another problem. Paul doesn't like reading. Okay, he is not a big fan of reading, but he also thought that, the book looks fascinating. So he paid for his coffee, took the book, and walked home. So what Paul did was, he turned the book around and he first read the back cover of the book, and reading that itself gave him a feeling that he had never experienced before. I'm sure if not all of us, but most of us could relate to this exact feeling. So he read The Secret that night, and this night that I just referred to and Paul was referring to in his story, guys, this night was 10 years ago. Yes, he read this book 10 years ago. This story is 10 years ago. And he mentions that he never took crack or heroin ever again in his life after reading The Secret. So Paul then believed in the entire process, due to which he received everything he desired. Ever since that day, Paul is living an amazing life. He also tells us that he ended up residing in Spain and Norway. In the past 10 years, he traveled and worked around Europe, and his life just kept getting better and better. He leaves a message for us saying something like, we ourselves are the key to our entire existence. Moral of the story for Paul was to believe in himself, and that anything is possible with the power of our thoughts. Paul tells anyone who is suffering right now to take a break, believe in you, and you will see that you can receive anything you want if you decide to put your mind to it. Paul lastly mentions that he is a living proof to this testimony that even in the darkest days of your life, with the help of law of attraction, you can get out of this and live the life you always wished for. Just don't ever give up. And then he thanks the universe. So guys, this was Paul's amazing, inspiring and super motivating success story. I loved it so much and I really have nothing much to say. Just, God bless that stranger and people like him, and God bless Paul for being able to change his life and sharing his success story with all of us.